Yes, we do indeed have Jaspreet Singh, the CEO and co-founder, joining us from Druva, one of the latest unicorns in the Indian startup ecosystem. Jaspreet, thank you so much for taking out the time. Has anything changed at all after you've entered the coveted unicorn club, so to say?
I think as a startup, we still fundamentally are same business, growing very, very rapidly. Just the scale is much different. A lot more customers now, a lot more different countries we are into, a lot more employees. So the scale has its own challenges. It has its own positive and negatives. So just growing and scaling as we go along.
But what does the unicorn tag mean, especially when you started off as a data management tool for laptops, the several pivots that you had based out of Pune and then the global market, and now after a long 10, 11 years, you're part of the club that's crossed the 1 billion valuation mark.
Being a unicorn price tag is a good validation. But not much beyond it. I think it's a good validation for all the hard work every single employee in Druva has done, all the customers which have valued Druva. But I think it's a good milestone for a company to hit. But we tend not to pay too much attention to price tags or valuations. These are only transient. We believe in solid customer traction or hard work.
But just please talk to us about the early days of Druva itself. I was mentioning how the product was initially for laptops, and then you had to transition to really being a full-fledged SaaS player, so to say.
Sure, Druva is a good story about how overnight success takes a long time. We had 3 major pivots to the company. Initial journey was started off building a disaster recovery product, very early days of Druva. At that time, we realized we were building a DR product for financial sector. We realized that building a disaster recovery product from a financial sector is a much harder problem to solve where we are as an unfunded company out of India. We transitioned then to go into a backup and recovery market, focus on endpoints first. In 13, we pivoted towards a cloud-centric point of view, a cloud market, and hence was this the third major pivot and no looking back. With all these major changes came more learning about the market, and we scaled rapidly after our pivot towards dominantly the only SaaS-based business to manage data, built purely on AWS.
Well, 3 major pivots before you sort of hit success, so to say. But talk to us about the early days, and also, was it how difficult was it to get the first set of investors on board, considering that you were a B2B player, so to say, and also the fact that you were based out of Pune?
I think we were very lucky to attract some really good angel investors and Sequoia as a first institutional investor very early on in the company. We still hadn't formed our business plan or go-to-market strategy very cleanly yet. I believe if I have to think back and look back, I think the angels and Sequoia believed in the team behind the idea more than the idea, and it was sort of understood that the broader sense of data protection or business continuity as a market is only gonna improve and grow. And the idea was to go behind it with a very solid team. And the investor trust and investor sentiment really made us going in early days, and we were still figuring out and pivoted multiple times to really build the idea we're following today.
Interesting that. But what has really been the most challenging part about building Druva? You spoke about the several pivots you made, or also was it the fact that you had to go around convincing customers globally that an Indian player could really solve the problem?
I think there are many interesting and challenging parts of any business, but Druva as well. Product market fit is obviously the number one. Getting a really good product market fit, how the market has a significant demand for the offering you have, and there's a almost sucking sound in the market for what your offering is, right? It starts from there, and then convincing the right employees to come on board, building a talent pool, investor traction, customer engagement and growth. All those takes time and patience and energy and effort to sort of really build and grow. And we went through our tough cycles on almost each one of them. I think the pivot towards a global business was initially a hard one. To perfect the product market fit almost took us 3 to 4 years, and you had patience to go through all the cycles. Building a robust team always takes time and effort. We're still doing it, still onboarding some great people, and very, very proud of it. And customer is just a very enjoyable part, but yet a tough part of any business to build predictable go-to-market model.
Well, a lot of challenges, but there Druva have sort of survived and sustained for the last 11 years. But do talk to us about, also was it a tough task, so to say, because you were a SaaS player? Did investors view you very differently, or was it really an added advantage?
Good question. I think Druva was very uniquely positioned as a SaaS player focused also on infrastructure, right? That's a two very unique overlap. Majority infra companies are a lot more hardware, software bound, and SaaS companies are a lot more application oriented, right? We were very unique to have a SaaS company focusing on infrastructure, the foundational building blocks of any enterprise. From that point of view, gauging an investor interest to see exactly how do you, how much money can you spend on customer acquisition? What will the long-term value of customer would be? Those are very, very unique to Druva, because infrastructure behaves very differently from application to build a business. Convincing customers on what's unique about Druva and how we would be uniquely positioned in the market took some time and effort. We had to have some data and to showcase how customer will grow over time, how acquiring them may be a little bit more expensive, but they will be long-term a lot more valuable, given we have a very sticky solution. So finding a unique place was both an interesting challenge even for us, because we had to really understand dynamics of business, and also then we had to convey to investors to really get the like-minded investors on board. But very fun challenge. And fortunate to raise almost $350 million in the last 6 years. So we really had to weave the story in and get customers, but very, very fortunate to have really great investors on board.
Well, but coming back to the business itself, what would really be the focus area, especially now that you have a massive $130 million round of funding behind your back? What would you, as a startup, be increasingly focusing on?
I think majority of your investment at this stage in the company still goes into sales and marketing. How would you expand into new markets? How would you expand into new segments of customers, new verticals? That's predominantly the most cash-consuming part of any business, any SaaS business. That said, we will still continue to invest heavily into R&D. We still aren't done building what we're building. There's a lot more to be done. It's a very, very large market, $30 billion market. And we have a very unique point of view to, have a very unique cloud point of view to really pivot the entire market in a SaaS business model. So I think it will still take many, many years to build, pan out the entire vision we had about the market. So massive spend in R&D. And that said, also heavy investment in growth. The market is phenomenally good right now for a cloud transformation point of view. So we are heavily investing into growth and growing very, very well. That's a big focus area for the big focus area, and also a good use of capital we've raised so far.
Well, R&D definitely a focus area, but do talk to us about the specific trends that you're really seeing standing out from a customer point of view. What really are customers looking for as far as data protection management is concerned?
There are many interesting trends. I think both from for customers' journey to cloud perspective, how they are deploying data. Storage is very much a depreciating asset today in enterprise, but data is a very highly appreciating asset in enterprise, right? And it's very interesting and fascinating to watch how enterprises are investing in different forms of different form of infrastructure or resources to build their business. Industrial IoT being one, They're deploying many cloud services from a point of view of either public cloud or other SaaS application being built. So as data gets more and more diversified, data gets more and more broader and more dispersed in nature, data management has to get more and more centralized, right? That's one core trend, and we are fortunate to be leading that trend. Second trend is the regulatory nature of things, with more GDPR and privacy controls coming to picture. Majority of enterprises are trying to see how local laws, local government laws that attach to their business model and what it does to their data, right? And data visibility, data management, building a business continuity policy around data becomes a core part of it, right? What they must discover, what they must protect, and how they must take care of things. So combination of these two trends are pretty fascinating for Druva as we grow and build our business more from both a data set point of view and looking at newer trends, and also from the new regulatory and compliance coming into the picture.
But Jaspreet, while data is an exciting space, it's also a challenging space to be in. You spoke about, government regulatory issues also. So what really is Druva doing to stay disruptive even as you see these disruptions around you going ahead?
Yeah, with every customer challenge, we see an opportunity, a business opportunity, right? So it's a great opportunity for Druva to when the overall landscape requires a better regulation around data. At Druva, because we built on public cloud, we try to we have all the levers in our business to make sure that we adhere, we help the customer adhere to local laws about data management, right? The beauty of public cloud is that you can get the same class of service, a same class of global service, in your local form factor and local regulatory compliance, right? So as we manage data holistically for an enterprise, we can do it at the global scale, yet adhere to the local laws of supporting the local regions for cloud. For example, we operate in Mumbai for India. We operate in 13 different regions, including Singapore, Japan, Australia, Canada, UK. So while operating in multiple regions and operating on public cloud, we keep the consistency of service, adhering to local laws, and bring the very nice global visibility data, which helps customer understand data and also use data for make data work for them, for both a compliance point of view and also for data ops or DevOps or BI point of view.
Jaspreet, I can't let you go without asking, what has been your biggest learning from the entire journey of entrepreneurship, something that all founders watching can really take away from?
I think very good question. My learning has been that you're going to give it all to chase a dream. So let the dream be a really, grand market opportunity or grand dream, right? Think big and think grand. And while solving a very relevant and very pertinent customer challenge at a large scale, gives you the motivation to give it even a lot more harder to solve it, to resolve it. And when you have a clear dream, when you have a big picture which you really want to build, people come along, right? From investors to employees, they see your dream, they see your grand vision for the market, and they come along. Much easier to inspire individuals, inspire investors to come along when your dream is big compared to the problem, compared to a small problem which may be solving.